we record this at home, as you can see. And we try to just be comfortable so that we don't have any discouragement of what we're going to record. So it's like sweater, whatever
just hanging out.
Whatever we wore today. I didn't even shave.
I know. That's okay.
Look at this.
I still love you.
I still love you. But just letting people know, the whole point of it is to not worry so much about what you look like, and just...
Sometimes when you have an idea, just do it.
Also, we don't know if our son's going to wake up anytime soon.
Yeah, so we just...
That's the other thing. All right, where's my phone? Anyways,
right behind you.
Welcome back to another
SHADELIFE
Archives episode. And you know what? Let's go to your phone.
Okay.
And go to your Facebook memories, and let's see what pops up. So if this is your first time tuning in, basically what we do is we go through the archives. We go through our Facebook, our Instagram, old video, old photo, and see... excuse me.
This thing, right?
And we'll see what comes up, and we talk about it, because there's a lot to talk about in one image. So
memories?
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Secret Sister. Oh, that's my old... what's that?
Oh, you weren't there.
Okay.
But...
Go back. Would you slow down?
I mean, these you won't know.
Okay, what's this? Go back. What's this one?
It's a charm that Christ Fellowship,
Okay.
Julie Mullins gave me
Okay.
when I did a performance.
Keep going. Oh my
Oh,
god.
see, like, you won't.
You're
all caught up. That's all my memories. That's sad.
That's not sad. It's just like just one day, right? All right, where was this?
This was a performance I was doing for them.
What performance?
It was for one of their...
Who's there?
Christ Fellowship.
All right, so you performed there. We can talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, totally talk about that. There's some good stuff there.
Okay.
All right, that one specifically, what performance was it? What year? What year does it say?
It says November 19th, 2015.
No, that's this photo. This is the photo?
Yeah.
This is the performance?
Yeah, this was just another one of me in front of the stage.
Oh,
but
you gotta save all these.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was, I think
Who were you performing with? That's the question.
Oh, so some are from Christ Fellowship. These two are from SDF.
Okay. Sean's Dance Factory.
That's Sean Blake and his daughter, Alyssa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Shout out to them. Crystal. Oh, so this was one of their Amazing. That's a woman's It's a conference.
Okay.
Yep. And so I think I've choreographed like 3 or 4 of them.
Okay.
And so this was one of them we did. And this was us backstage getting ready to go on. That's crazy.
What goes through your head when you look at these photos?
I just can't believe, like, I was just talking to some women earlier about, like, performing and my dance journey and all that stuff and how much you do just to perform. And, of course, when they asked me to do a dance, I was like, yeah, I get to perform, you know. I'm like, heck yeah, I'll do it. But the process of it is always interesting, you know.
You're still a performer at heart, though.
Yes, I am.
You know, whenever you have the opportunity to be in front of people, it's still a place that you feel most, like, alive and at home at.
Absolutely.
You know?
And on top of that, I was, like, hardcore leading at the time, too, like, at this church. So there's a part of me that just, like, loved leading a group of people, and not only in faith, but also, like, within dance, you know, and...
Where's that photo
teaching them.
All right, let's talk about these bangs right here. Are those bangs? What is that?
No, that's not bangs. I just pulled it back.
Okay, that's like my favorite thing that you
I know, and I just stopped doing it.
Okay, so this is one thing that I'll pull out from this. When we first, because I wasn't in your life at this time.
2015, yes, you were.
I wasn't
we were
in your
dating.
life. Just kidding, that was a joke. So when I do remember you doing this performance. I wasn't there because it was a women's conference, right? But I remember at that time in your life, you change your hair color like every every other season. It was you. You were a very colorful person.
I was, even when
And-
we met.
But when we met, it was even worse.
Worse.
Yeah, blonde hair, purple hair, red
Short hair.
short hair. I mean,
I got bored easily.
bored, or you were just expressive.
I was very expressive, that's
Yeah,
true.
but that's also the culture.
Yep.
Like, within dance culture,
Yep.
performances are like switching.
You gotta
up.
stand out,
Yeah.
too, at some point,
Well, I think that's what I'm alluding to is like at that time in your life, that was the game you were in. Was standing out. It was performing. It was being out, putting yourself out there in public. And then, I mean, let's take that in comparison to maybe like where life is now, and especially for both of us, because we used to both be dancers.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of our life has changed where dance is not at the forefront of our life.
Right.
And if you think about it, even then, I mean, this is a transit 2015. That's right before we got married.
Right before you proposed to me.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So we were still involved in dancing, but we were not.
Performing the way we were.
No, we were not
Yeah.
at that level. I think my last probably bigger competition of battling was 2014. And even with that, I injured myself the day after.
Yep.
I remember I injured myself the day after, and that was like, so like the transition of, man, being so, like, that's your life.
Yeah, I know.
Like, dance I've been doing it since I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
And think about the people that you've met. I mean, even now, like, we meet so many different people, but the moment we connect with a dancer, you just feel at home.
Yeah, it's a different connection.
They just get you.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's easy.
I don't really know what it is.
I don't either.
But I think it has to do with everything we're talking about. There's this excitement to put yourself out there.
Yep.
To perform.
Yep.
And there's also this like, I don't care concept, because you also are expressive. There's a part of you that's like, you have to come from I don't care mentality.
Oh, absolutely.
To perform, to put yourself in front of people publicly, no matter what.
Like, I couldn't talk. Like, I remember them giving me the mic at one point to like say a few words or something, and I was like, I was about to shit in my pants. Is what I was about to do, because I dance so that I don't have to speak. You know what I mean? So it was just this idea, like, when you go, and like, I could know the choreography because I choreographed it like the back of my hand, but I still felt like I was gonna throw up right before each performance.
Oh, but
I love that feeling.
Yeah, that
You're like,
butterflies in your stomach feeling.
just like a roller coaster. You're like, I gotta pee so bad, and then as soon as it's over, you're like,
but once the lights hit, once the crowd is cheering, there's this,
you almost
like,
become a different person. Like, you're just like,
you are having an outer body experience.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Like, even in competition, there's these nerves, and you don't know if you're gonna hit your moves or you're gonna crash. What are you gonna feel? But the moment you're on that floor and you just stop thinking.
Yep.
And that's one thing. As I'm thinking about it, ironically, I really miss about being involved in dance culture. There's this, I mean, sometimes it could be treated as escapism, and that's unhealthy.
Right.
But there's this part of you that always lives with, we're going to stop thinking. Because dance is the only time, it's in our lives, I think, besides maybe some spiritual experiences, right? But it's one of the few times where you are just there.
Yes.
You're just in a moment. Nothing matters because you're not thinking about anything.
Yep.
You let go, you lose yourself, you refine yourself.
Yep.
And then the lights turn back on and you're like, oh shit, I'm on stage, or oh,
Right.
I'm in a competition and the crowd's going nuts, or
Right.
you are in a moment. It's the very few moments where you feel, I want to say, completely alive.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're just not worrying about before. or what's going to happen. You're just in this moment. And there's a part of me that like
misses living like that.
Yeah, but you also know that like the overconsumption of that
Right.
is not healthy.
Right.
Because it's not real at the same time. And not that like you need to focus so much on like what reality is or what reality isn't. But there is a part of you that, man, like,
You need to feel that
yeah, it's
every day of some capacity.
I always say that dance is spiritual in the sense that like you experience this feeling of there is something beyond me, right? There's like
Yeah.
there's a force that I am like moving with,
Yeah.
and I'm not even aware of it. I mean, like they always say at my crew, Soul Shifters, they call it catching the ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, the term comes from like the Holy Ghost, catching the Holy Ghost, but it's this like, yo, what happened? Like, I don't know, man. I just caught the ghost,
Right.
Like
You can't explain it.
it's just in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh man, it's like, I almost want to say that I don't want to blame like church, or I don't want to blame spirituality, because it's done so many great things for our life too. But I do think that knowing more,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like the knowledge of life has also taken the joy of being in the moment.
Yes.
Because you're just so worried. You're aware of what's going to happen tomorrow.
Right.
What happened then.
Like, I was so carefree when I was in my crew and when I was like dancing as backup dancer and stuff. Like, my IBS, I didn't feel like I was just so engulfed in those moments and in that journey that I didn't even I wasn't worried about anything else.
Yeah.
And I feel like now that hasn't fully been in my life as much as it once was, it's like everything else is in the forefront now.
Yeah.
Everything else has come to the surface, especially having a kid on top of that. Like, everything is heightened, even more. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, how do you find those moments within your life now?
Yeah.
And I think I'm still on that journey trying to figure it out.
No, for sure.
But I do miss that. Like, even just talking about it, I'm like, oh man, I remember that. Those times.
I think that's like how we were talking about it, is why it's like so important to us that Bodhi learns dancing.
Mm-hmm. Whether he pursues it or not.
Yeah, it's like
we just want him to be around it.
Yeah, just to experience, like, even in the family that is cultural. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is your mom and dad were dancers,
right?
So you need to at least get a taste of it.
Yes.
Even if he grows up and he just doesn't have rhythm and 2 left feet or whatever,
Right.
you just know it, because I do hope that a part of him. I mean, usually parents are like, I don't want my kid dancing. They like try to discourage them.
Right.
Or like, no, go.
No, keep dancing.
Because, man, we've made some of our
Closest friends.
Our closest friends, the communities that we've been able to be a part of and also build, and also witness.
Right.
Like so many people, their transformations in their
Right.
life. And still to this day, people that we maybe haven't seen or talked to in so long, and we bump into them, we reconnect with them, they are just the same damn people, man. I mean, in a good way.
Yeah.
And it's so refreshing.
Yeah, it's like you can not talk to them for a little while, and then you
forever. And
just
it's
talk,
like,
and you're like, gosh,
it's all
nothing
good.
changed.
Yeah, I do.
In a
miss
good
it.
way, yeah. Like you said, not in a bad way.
I think that's a big reason why I want Bodhi to get involved into, maybe not even just dance, maybe it's just something within the creative arts, because I really loved being part of a community growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't really get involved into other communities, especially spiritual communities, until probably like my 20s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But being a teenager and being involved in the community, like so many kids, like they get involved in things, bad things, negative things. They have self-doubt, they have insecurities, and I really do
Right.
think it's because they're just not around positive influence. Like, growing up, like, oh, why didn't you get into drugs, or why didn't you get into this? Because I was too busy trying to figure out how to windmill. That's why. Like, I was trying to figure out how to stand on one hand
Right.
and balance. That's why, right? And you're like, because I was trying to figure out this damn 8 count, and I don't remember what number 6 was, you know?
Yeah.
And you weren't doing it by yourself.
And that's what I loved most about it. I think that's why I love choreography, is because you're with a group of people and you're coming together to form this one dance. Mm-hmm. But you're all unique and different in your own way, coming together, and you make something so beautiful happen just by dancing with each other.
Yo, and that's hard. Like, I know a lot of people in the freestyle world hate on choreography, but that's hard to, like, humble your own way, you know, and allow yourself, almost like submit yourself to the will of the group. Like, can you move with people? And that's something that I struggle with till this day, not just on the floor, but also off the floor, which is like, just stop doing your own thing and just follow for a second. Like,
right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, can you be just one with people?
Yeah.
And not always have to have the last word, or have the person, or have the unique weird style, you know? And maybe that's because in breaking growing up, it was always about, you know, stand out.
Right.
You know, be original, be your own, you know. And I still carry those things,
of course,
today. But
and even with dance, with choreography, you're still standing out in your own way while still doing the same exact movement.
But in that, you know, within the culture, there is a different respect level of, like, if I see your choreography, like, yo, that's dope. Let's do that routine together.
Right.
In breaking, it's like, that style's whack. Mine's better, you know? Or it's like, yeah, that style's dope. You know, let's battle. You know, I don't know. It's not like or like, oh yeah, that style looks like that style. That's biting.
Right.
You know, there's not as much as like a camaraderie of almost like I don't want to say honoring. Well, I mean, honoring someone's style, or like giving, like paying homage, or
respect.
Yeah, just like respecting this. I don't know. It's. I think it's because it's based off a competition, like competitive. Like, I mean, the battle. It's a debate. You know? So you're brought up that way. So I think when we started dating too, there's this part of me that was like, yeah, I hate on it, but I was like, okay, cool.
And I would come and take your class, and I would try, and I would try to do, and I would be able to mimic you because that's what I'm good at. However, when you would do those individual moments where you're like, okay, now go freestyle, or come up with like an 8 count, or not even an 8 count. That's not how you guys talk. But you were like, okay, now just take this movement.
I didn't even know there was 8 counts. I didn't even know what an 8.
You're like, I have a 6th step.
A 16th. Yeah, but I didn't know what any of that stuff was. I was just like, I just know at this point in time the music does this. That's all I know. That's what I know.
Yeah, it's...
Any teacher that says, all right, class, we're going to freestyle, basically what it means is they have no class prepared.
Right.
That's basically what it means. That was probably all of my classes. Like, all right.
And I was like, dang it, I don't... And I would always struggle, like, why can't I do this? Or why can't I just... Like, I choreograph, so, like, I can come up with, like, an 8 count.
Yeah.
Like, but when you told me to take a move...
Yeah.
And now do something with it on the floor, it wasn't fun for me. It wasn't that I couldn't do it. It just wasn't fun for me because I'm like,
but we were
alone.
We were also brought up differently creatively.
Right.
You know, and I think that's something that needs to be said, is because some people look at it like, well, if it's not this way, then it's not creative. If it's not this way, then it's not dance or whatever.
Right.
I mean, I was brought up, you know, within an urban street style of dance, which was a freestyle mentality. And it was like a listen, feel, and react. And you didn't really honor or respect the concept of like learning with people.
Right.
You know, as far as like the same moves. Like stand in a circle and we'd all just like feed off of it. That's the cipher. That's the cipher etiquette. That's the concept of it. And then... Or
even listening to a song and bringing that song to life.
But your style of learning was very collaborative.
Yes.
It was like come together, and it was like, okay, I thought of this move, and then someone would be, oh, okay, why don't you do this? And then ka-da-kappa, boom boom cat.
Right.
I always say boom cat, boom boom cat.
Lots of cats.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I like the and then, you know, it's a collaborative, and breaking, it's like, okay, that's dope. You know, you know what I mean? Like, it's a different process, and it doesn't make one better than the other. It just creates like they're different mediums
Right.
of creativity,
Right.
you know, and not to say that breaking or freestyle is not communal. There's a communal experience, which is one thing that we love when we share
Right.
about it. But there's also this area within dance that I think that there's different aspects of it
Yep.
that have to be honored and respected because it's all part of dance in itself.
Right.
And I mean, and also at the same time, it's not like me as a performer, I wasn't making money because I had no structure.
Right.
I couldn't put a performance together, you know, but you made your
A
living,
career.
your career off of it because you can structure, you know, maybe you weren't like diving into freestyle competitions and, you know, but that is something that is very respectable, is to be able to take an idea and structure it.
Yeah.
And take that concept and be like, this is what I'm trying to portray, versus someone like me that's like, oh yeah, check this out. You know, it's like,
You're just gonna be one with the wind.
yeah, but that's the problem with the concept of freestyle. And this isn't just freestyle. This is like, this applies to sermons, drawing, everything. It's this, like, freedom is beautiful, but you can't wrap your mind around it.
Right.
It's just water. It's formless.
Right.
And if you tell people, like, this is beautiful, you're like, it's just water. What is that?
Right.
You don't know what it is.
Well, you can't grasp it. Yeah.
Exactly. You can't grasp it. And it's the same thing with the concept of, like, you can go into the concept of faith. It's like the moment you give somebody the concept of freedom, that it's very foreign to them. They're like, I don't know what this is, unless you experience it yourself.
Right.
But for you to be like, this is beautiful, you have to be like, oh, look at this glass
Right.
of water. That's beautiful. Look at this teacup. Look at this pot of
Right.
water. You can look at it. You can contextualize it. You see what it is. That's what that is. But with the moment you can't, it's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
And the beauty of it is that you can't explain that.
Right.
That it is something that can only be felt.
Right.
And that is something that I hold very dear to my heart about dance spiritually.
Yeah.
Is that it is not something that I can really explain to you, how, like, when
What
you're
I
just
feel,
when you're just in a moment and you don't even know the song, but you have this feeling that something's gonna happen.
Yes.
And you're just so in tune with it, and then you like slip, and then you're like, oh, I slipped, but instead of going against it, you go with the slip, and then you end up rolling up on
Creating
your
something
elbow,
beautiful.
hopping up and clapping your hand, and
Yeah.
it's on beat, and then your hat falls off, and you grab your hat, and then you flip it, your friend catches it, and then they do a pose, and you do it together. You're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
That's, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
hard to explain it. Did you plan it? Nope.
Nope.
Not at all.
Just happened.
Just happened. And we were freaking there to experience it.
Yeah.
And even if I tried to explain it, people would be like, yeah, that's cool. Man.
Yeah.
And I think, like, it's something that both of us carry within our life, is this desire that whatever we felt in this come up within our dance careers has to be felt now as well, you know? Like, I think about now too, like, the way we study. I'm very, like, I study and then I need to go talk to people,
Right.
you know? And you're like, I need to meet with my girls every Thursday night, and we need to
Go through a topic.
we need to do this together. This is a communal conversation.
Yep.
That's what this is. You are the cutest individual that I know when it comes to this stuff.
I do. I enjoy, and this pandemic doesn't help, but I enjoy, like, I thrive when I'm around people.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's moments where I need to just isolate myself and, like, have a glass of wine and just relax. But I do love being social. I always
Yes.
have. And I think dance helped me with that as well. But
And now that we're on the topic, I just have to say this. Because everybody always thinks that, like, if you are a person of debate, you're a negative person. But in and through debate is the very thing that brings a sense of clarity and a result. And I love that about the culture I was brought up in, which is
Yeah.
very contrast.
complete contrast.
You know, so for me, I'm like, yeah, let me find out my facts, and then let me find somebody that disagrees with me, and then let's talk. Because,
Let's battle.
yeah, because it's not the answer. The conversation itself is divine.
Right.
Just the fact that you have your different opinion, viewpoint, and experience, and so do I, and we need to converse and talk about this, whether that's dance or not dance or another topic, that in itself
Yeah.
is so important for people to experience, because two things will happen. You'll get confirmation on what you have experienced, or you will get humbled and you will say,
Yes.
I need to rethink and relearn or unlearn whatever it is that I'm experiencing. And you need that. That's
Yep.
the journey, you know? So when it comes to battle culture, that has been my life.
Right.
Has been learning, practicing, entering, conversing with people through dance, and then getting your ass whooped, smoked, and being like, let me go back to the drawing board and rethink this.
Right.
Because there's other people that have different experience, different viewpoints, and at the end of the day, no one's fully right.
Right.
And we're all figuring this stuff out. And I've always said, if we can figure that out through dance, and then we can figure that out through life, and if people can understand that more, we'd have a way more peaceful world. So let's battle. Damn, girl.
Okay.
These things are gonna end, so
Okay.
yeah. Well, I got stuff to do, so
I got stuff to do.
handle that.